As a self-proclaimed serial hobbyist, all of my feeds are constantly being filled with various crafts and DIYs that I save for future me to experiment with. And today I'm going to be doing that experimenting on camera with you as I see which viral DIYs that have been on my feed lately are actually worth doing. We've got a day of crafting ahead of us, so let's just dive in. My favorite DIYs are definitely the ones that are super simple that have big impact, and that's what I feel like when I came across this particular reel of some paper flowers. Drawing isn't my strongest suit, but I feel like I can do acceptable flowers. So I've got some watercolor paper here because I want the paper to be a little bit textured. For the actual coloring, I'm not doing watercolor, I'm using markers. This little funky carafe I think is going to be my vase. So I need to measure it here. I think my flowers can go like this, maybe a little bit higher. I think my first flower, I'm going to do a daisy. Ooh, I don't like that brown. Off to a poor start here. Okay, we got our first one. Oh, see, this yellow, much nicer. We'll do a little blue daisy. Much more blue than I thought. I thought that was going to be a little bit more muted. Another daisy. Ooh, these ones are really nice. Now I need to cut these out. I'm gonna leave a decent border around them because the point is for them, you know, to look like paper flowers. Flowers in general are just very forgiving doodles, so I don't feel like anyone needs to be super intimidated at the prospect of drawing them because it's nature. The imperfections only add to the realism, you know? You're actually being more artistic by having some flaws in what you're doing. I'm just trying to follow roughly the curvature of the flower as I'm doing the border. And I'm also not cutting off the end of the stem because I kind of just want to have a little bit more control over the height of all of these. Now that I've done one side, I flip it over and do the other. It's much easier to do this after you've cut them out because then you kind of have the outline to guide you. Finished all of my flowers here, and now I'm just kind of debating on whether or not I do want to use this original vase I had in mind or actually opt for something see-through, kind of like what the video did, and do a mini mason jar instead. My instinct is the mini mason jar might be nicer because you can actually see the stem. It just adds to the artistic because it feels like a shame to hide the stems and the leaves on some of these. Which ones are my favorites? I really like this one. I really like this one. Feels like I'm actually cutting real flowers here. Needs a little snip. This one needs probably like that. Yeah. I think this right here is what I'm gonna go with as the final one. I do really like the see-through vase. Kind of adds to the artistic touch. I give this DIY a 10 out of 10. It requires supplies that you probably already have on hand, paper, something to color with, and scissors. Even the vase itself can be an old mason jar, something that you have in your kitchen cupboard. I think it's perfect for this time of year as well because, you know, who doesn't like to be surrounded by fresh flowers during warm weather? And then if I ever don't want this displayed anymore, I can take these flowers out and use them in my journal as like paste-ins. Like there's so many ways I could repurpose these in my journal or in my planner. I'm gonna take some creative liberties with this next DIY. It's a bag charm filled with little tiny mini books, and what really captured my eyes with this particular DIY is the fact that the creator was using Bristol board to make the mini books. Now I've done something like this before for the holiday season. I did a ton of mini size books, like super mini size books made out of Bristol board of all the books I read in the year, and I put it into a plastic see-through ornament so you could shake it and see all the books. It was adorable. But I never thought to make it into a larger form, so I'm going to try that today because I have the most awkward size Bristol board just begging to be used for some sort of craft that I've been hanging on to, and it's gonna pay off today. The years of having this will pay off. Unlike this video where there's multiple books made, I'm just gonna make one book the star of the show. So I designed a template on Canva with 2 different cover options. I could have done a third, but I think I'm gonna keep it between these 2. We've got Our Perfect Storm by Carly Fortune, which feels very spring summer coated, and Dire Bound by Sable Sorensen. This is a book high on my TBR, but I just kind of like the vibrant red of it. It's at this point where things are gonna get a little bit serious. So I wanna use an X-Acto knife to cut my Bristol board out, because if I use scissors, it's gonna crumple the Bristol board and not make it so clean. I want a really clean cut here. But this is a pretty thick material, so you gotta be careful while you're doing this. And I wanna do as minimal cuts as possible, so I'm gonna take advantage of the perfect cuts on the edges that I already have. No fingers lost. Miracles. So we've got our 3 bests. I'm gonna stack them. I'm gonna use a hot glue gun here to glue my pages together. When they're stacked like that, that's where you get the pages look. Before I add the cover, I wanna make our attachment for the actual keychain. I'm gonna make a hole in the top left. I'm gonna use an embroidery thread to get this elastic cord to the other side. So now we have it through. I'm gonna tie a knot at the top. I'm going to take my little keychain attachment. I think I want gold for this one. Weave it through, and I just make a few knots so that it's all secure. And now the only thing left to do is to attach my cover to my pages. And there is the bag charm, so cute. I do think the Bristol board gives it a very realistic effect, and this is a fun way to honor one of your favorite books or a book that you're currently reading. And again, this used a lot of materials I already had on hand. I guess like the keychain is the most like out of the box thing you might not have. Instead of using a poking tool like I have here, you could use a nail and a hammer to kind of poke through the Bristol board. Like there's ways to even get around some of the tools I use. I just love it so much. Very grateful for this video that kind of inspired me to go this single book route. Honestly, this is one of the more easy bag charm projects that I've done here on this channel. So it's worth trying out for yourself. These DIY recreation videos, I've done greeting cards, I've done envelopes, but now I'm gonna use paper to actually wrap a gift. And this is a really unique way to do it. That's outside of the box of even using wrapping paper or a gift bag. Perfect for those like small little goodies gifts if you're getting someone skincare or a just because treat on a random day. I think this can make it really special. So I have this wonderful square size pattern paper. The first thing I need to do is flip over so my design is facing the mat, and I need to fold it in half. Then I open it up and I'm gonna fold 1/2 towards the center line and the other one. Then I'm gonna use tape to tape those together. Then I take my tape side and I fold it over, and I'm gonna take this, fold it in here, this, and do the same. And then I've got some cutting to do here. Unbox it. Now I'm having trouble getting this one to come together nicely. I think what the problem is I tape with the sheets of paper giving a little bit of an overlap, and I think it needs no overlap, so it's a perfect square. This time I'm gonna use a larger square, so let's see how this goes. Okay, so we're not overlapping them. Then I can take my little lip balm and mask here. And there you go, so cute. My ends do have some gaps, so I think what I would recommend is wrapping whatever you're gonna put in there in tissue paper as like another barrier, or just to really make sure that first knot that you do is tight so it doesn't loosen when you're doing the second knot, because that's what ended up happening. I think a lot of people would find it very whimsical to receive a package like this. This DIY that I saw online is so cool because you can use it to make a variety of things. And that is because we are going to create our very own pattern. So I'm just gonna quickly tape these 5 square pieces of paper to my mat here so that they don't budge around. I'm thinking that what I'm gonna do is draw some of my favorite things. Be honest, does this look like the CN Tower to you? Because that's what it's supposed to be. So now I switch the left and the right column. Now we do another flip. I find this just so cool because no matter how I flip these squares around now, I've got a pattern that I can play with. After I was done drawing, I then scanned each of the 4 images into Lightroom and just played around with the saturations and settings so that the colors would pop a little bit more before then bringing them into Canva to make the finalized print. I have my printed design here that I'm going to use for my Kobo, my new Kobo cover. It's really cool to just see this now in pattern form. First need to do our cuts. I love this little rounder paper cutter because it makes it so easy to just make my edges, my corners look a little bit more appropriate for the e-reader. And now I just need to tuck it in, get the e-reader, and voila. Very summery, and like what's great about this design is I can now use it, you know, for a lot of different things. I really like this DIY. I think there's tons of possibilities. I do think it requires a little bit more effort, not just to like create the design itself, but also make sure that you're keeping track of like where you're moving your papers and stuff. But it is like just really neat that there's so many different ways that you can add a little personal touch to things in your home, your devices. I just feel like I learned a new skill today, which is always a satisfying feeling. Even I am shocked to admit this, but as a kid, I didn't make a ton of friendship bracelets. That wasn't like the thing that I got into. I knew people who did, but I want to get into that now that I'm 29. And I think this is a perfect time of year to learn how to do this because I feel like making a little friendship bracelet like this with embroidery string is not only inexpensive, but like a great party trick to bring if you're around kids and you need to like show them something cool that they can do or you can do together with them, but also a great adult activity too. You know, no kids need to be around for this to be fun. It can be fun to accessorize with friendship bracelets like these. So this tutorial looked simple enough. I already have my little template here that I made out of a paper plate, and I've chosen my 2 colored strings. I'm gonna go for this green and purple. So I've got 4 strings, 2 different colors. Now I just need to fold, knot these guys. I'm just gonna poke this through. My hole in the center is quite large, so I'm just gonna tape it down. My first color here, and I take this one. My second color goes here. So then I take the top and move it down, and the bottom left and move it up. And then I rotate. Then I bring this one down, this one up, and then this one down, and this one up. How do I know it's working is what I want to know. I should have made my little template here out of slightly sturdier cardboard because it does look like my paper plate is struggling a bit. 15 minutes later, and I encountered a slight problem in that I did not make my strings long enough. Later on that day, I decided to give another crack at this DIY because I wanted to be actually met with the bracelet. I could see the potential here. So I made my strings about 60 centimeters each, and I feel like that was a pretty good amount. I probably would go even like to 70 or 80 centimeters just so that you'd have a lot more flexibility with how long or short you want the bracelet. You know, if you've got more yarn, you can always cut it off, but if you've got less, you can't really add to it. I do feel like this DIY is quite easy in terms of the fact that using this template helps the bracelet come together quite quickly. It's just a little bit of a tedious task. So definitely something that'd be good to put on with an audiobook in the background, or if you're talking around the table with some girlfriends and you just want something that you don't have to focus too much on. This is great. I want to know in the comment section down below, which of the DIYs I tackled today would you most likely try for yourself, or are you feeling inspired to try for yourself? For me, if I had to make a top recommendation, I think those paper flowers are a very safe bet. Again, I love doing DIYs and crafts, but also talking about organization and books and just trying to find small ways to better my life. So if you want to stick around for any of that, make sure you've hit the subscribe button. I also have a Monday morning newsletter I send out every Monday morning to help better your inbox on a Monday, because I know that's a scary place to be. So there's also a link in the description box to that. I'll see you guys soon with the new one. Until then, bye guys.